Greetings and bienvenue, Midnight Crew. Thank you for returning to this broadcast. And welcome to new viewers joining us for the first time. If you like a video, then feel free to subscribe.
Well, not sure if super stalker, but close enough. Be me 22. Just got off on college break. Meet up with my friends back home and decide to go hiking. Now let us just say my friends and I are not the smartest people out there. Me and my one friend, let's call him Matt, are super into Stalker. We both have full Stalker gear for hiking and camping that we take with us, mostly because surplus gear is cheaper than Kabila's. Other friend is super into Fallout. He has his setup to look like he is a survivor in the wasteland. Let's call him Sam. Pack up all our shit and go to a national park. We have our rifles and a fair bit of alcohol and baked beans. Remember when I said we were not that smart? Well, we decided to pack a canvas army tent into Matt's backpack. The hike was fantastic. Great scenery all around us as we walked deeper into the woods. It started to get dark and we decided we needed to make camp. Nearest site is like 5 miles to our north, and like hell we are going to make that before nightfall. Clear underbrush and prepare to set up a tent. Realize we forgot that the tent needed 3 wooden poles to stand, so we have to make some Boy Scout knots to lash together a few sticks. I start a fire outside our tent and we eat our beans and MREs while drinking. Let us just say when I get drunk, I get paranoid. Like really paranoid. Sam decides to start reading Skinwalker stories. He is doing it just to mess with me. But that knowledge does not matter. Midway through the story, we hear a screech through the dark trees. It was probably a fox or owl, but for my impaired mind, it was the Skinwalkers. They were coming for me. My friends were also kind of spooked as well. I was not going to die without a fight, though. Remember my days on /K/ reading about simple but effective traps laid by the Viet Cong. Lightbulb.gif. I took out my shovel and started digging punji pits all around our tent. Matt starts making an alarm system out of beer and empty bean cans around our perimeter. Sam decides more light is better than less light. How do you get more light? More fire. Did I mention Sam was a bit of a pyro? He collects a shit ton of wood and makes a fire circle around the tent. The final touch was to wipe the spikes I had previously made with our own shit. Finally, our defenses were finished. We were ready for the attack. Stinks of shit and the smoke is pretty bad, so we all put on our gas masks. No stalker forgets his gas mask. Decide to drink more Soviet liquid courage. Matt starts yelling, perimeter breach, at the top of his lungs, and starts firing into the forest randomly. Not sure if there actually was a breach, but I was not taking chances. Start mag dumping into the darkness. Forest sounds like the Alamo. Blind myself because I am an idiot. Run out of ammo eventually. Only 1 mag left. Need to make it count. I fell asleep at some point due to fatigue and alcohol. When I woke up, I finally could appreciate the marvel that we had created. The ranger that woke me seemed less impressed. Stage 4 autism takes over and I say, Privyet Stalker. Realize I still have my gas mask on and probably look like a complete weirdo. I get arrested and charged with a misdemeanor and fined $400 for firing a weapon in a national park, and am forced to fill in my Skinwalker defenses. Moral of the story, don't get caught. I think I got off light for the damage we did.
Okay, what follows is among stupidest things I've ever done. It happens late in December at an undetermined year, in the rare chance that someone knows about this. It is late November. I am Innawoods at a state park that was a former military installation. Checking out some stuff off trail and I find a bunker. The entrance is visible but is sealed up. Get the idea that if I can get some fellow stalkers, we could hike it in from a second location, crack it open in the night, and do some exploration aided by the cover of darkness. The biggest problem is that this is in a rather populated area, a popular park, and on the beach, so there is a United States Coast Guard station that is about 3/4 miles from my location. Got more problems? My stalker of choice is doing something with his month off. Stalker 2 is less than perfect for the journey, but is mentally unstable enough to overlook all the bullshit that this plan entails. The first guy is still going to be bro tier and hooks me up with a good flashlight, crowbars, and an e-tool. I pick up my other guy at Walmart after grabbing the gear and packing stuff for a cold night. We go into Walmart looking like we are ready to walk into Chernobyl. I forgot that I had it on me thanks to the heavy padding of my jacket, and picked up some tourist delight with my GP5 bag on my hip. We leave his car there and set off to this second location that has a 4-mile connector trail towards the destination. From there, it is another 3.5 miles with some change. We leave at 16 o'clock, arriving there in the cover of dark. The connecting trail runs through some marsh that smells like death and sulfur, and had this really nice fog over the water that really set the mood. Walkover is uneventful. We get to the main area and start down a trail that will get us to the campground. We get into the campground about an hour and a half after departure, see some lights and get really paranoid for a spell, but all is clear. Take temporary refuge in the shadow of an old ordnance bunker. Get to a road and run across. No real direction here, but if memory served me right, we would intersect this backwoods trail. That would start taking us towards the beach. We are deep in some pine woods here. Cannot see shit, and the trail should split somewhere towards the beach. After some aimless circling, we find our way to the beach access. To the left of us is an old ordnance dump. We continue and make it to the beach. Go down by the surf and get ready for the final 1.5-mile stretch. We see a fox enjoying a dead fish. It lets us get oddly close to it, but eventually got spooked. We walk to about where I think it should be and run into a bit of an issue. There is not a beach access to it, so I have to guess which dune it is and just go for it. Managed it on my second try. We get to the bunker and set up shop on top of it, where there is this old pillbox or lookout station. We bust out the canned goods and I get out the hexamin tablets. Have slightly heated hearty beef stew that sets rather well with the 23-degree weather and wind. We set down the hillside going for the entrance ready to breach. We crawl into this space between the former blast doors and second door. Shit was already opened. Sikablayat.mp3. This entrance once had cinder blocks where the blast doors should have been, and was then covered in sand. The wall collapsed and exposed the second door. I get the GP5 on and blurt out cheeky breeky of Damke. Crawl in through the small hole and into the bunker. Shit is dark and I can almost smell the rust and black mold through the mask. Shit is looking good. Concrete is showing no signs of wear or cracks from rusting reinforcing rebar. Exploring. The place is set up with a long corridor set to the rear, with everything else and a rear entrance at the end of a corridor to the center. At each entrance there is a small office and a generator room. Next room inward is a room for storing ordnance for the cannons. That would have been at each of the side exits. Then there is an office on my side, and on the opposite side, set back a ways, was a lockup for supply or small arms. In the center of the office and supply room, there is a corridor that goes towards the rear door. To the left is some kind of utility room, with some weird shit hanging from the ceiling, and all the electrical shit all ripped up like some crackhead rampaged in the place. There is some kind of shaft that is up on the wall, but I will get to that later. Up more to the right is a rec room with old chairs, lockers, and space that once had a couple bunks. On the left, there are the latrines with some mystery pit on the floor that instilled heavy fear. We take a chair from the rec room and take it into the wrecked utility room to climb in that shaft. There was some old shit and some ruined sacks of Quickcrete along with some animal bones. And that was about it. The place was looted by the government and anyone who came before us. Shit was a fucking disappointment. Thanks to it smelling like death, we decide to stake a camp up top. Shit is cold. We packed with 10 pounds or less, with most of the weight being canned goods and a useless crowbar. The only warmth was a poncho liner in the clothes I had. And as part of the reason, he was my second choice. My friend had a different idea of warmth and had next to no gear for the weather, and especially for the 25-mile-per-hour wind. He is nearing freezing to death. We need to move now. I give him my poncho liner to wrap himself in under his jacket. We leave the crowbars to reduce weight, and decide that stealth is optional for this mission. We took off going for the main parking lot for the beach. We keep it going. Hauling ass along the road, we came to an area that was the main barracks for the base, now a central hub for the park. Still hauling ass, and we go past the main offices and exhibition hall with an old bunker behind it. We take cover in the event that they have got security cameras. Regardless, I throw on the GP5 when we go by. Friend is already wearing a wool mask for warmth. We haul ass on a large dune overlooking the ocean, hoping that we could just get into cover behind the crumbling remains of another bunker up there. And take a break after power walking the shit out of 3.5 miles, packs off and enjoying the view. Then all hell breaks loose. We see headlights in the parking lot below. They are patrolling the damn place, and now it goes down to a lot of speculation. Either the United States Coast Guard saw our fire and lights and reported it, or we tripped something going through the parking lot, or going through the barracks, or by the office center. But it did not matter. We had fucking cops on us. Just nervous to start, so we just crouched down. Then they start driving up the dune, so we ran for cover in the broken concrete, but our bags are sitting out, getting worried. Guy eventually backs off. Lucky as hell. I had my K-bar out and my GP5 on. I was in the wrong state of mind to have the concern of what happens when you stab a cop while screaming stalker memes. But now we realize there are more problems. Down on the beach is a second truck. They drive up about 30 yards, stop, and spotlight the dune. We figure that truck one sees us run and figures we ran for the beach, and never saw our stuff. So we go for the connector trail. 4 fucking miles in this cold after this shit. So logic dictates that we hum bandit radio loud and take off at maximum power walk. Across the marsh, we see the spotlight going on. If they keep going, they will get to a beach exit where my car is parked. We get to the car. My friend has fallen out in the last quarter mile. Shit is cold. We take off, go into town, stop in the parking lot of some apartment complex. Still had 1 can of fruit cocktail left. Want me some fucking fruit cocktail. Turn off the car so nothing looks too shady. Pop out my P38 and pull a nice Steve impression that falls on deaf ears. Next thing that happens is a cop racing towards the parking lot we came from. We panic, and now it is 2:30 and we are not thinking right. Think we should go a town over and crash there. We do, and for about an hour we try to sleep in my car. My friend starts shivering to the point of convulsions. Drive him back to Walmart so he can die in his own car. Shit was fucking great and terrible at the same time. It is one for the ages, but one I'll only repeat about 20 or 30 more times. It was fun. I tried going for some kind of tech-free trip, so I didn't bring my phone. Call it bullshit if you want, but it happened. Pic of the hill from the bottom of it.
Hiking through the woods with my girlfriend along the river. Find abandoned coal power plant. Does not look like rain. Lay down tarp. Get out a tool and dig a deep fire pit under a tree with lots of leaves. Girlfriend collecting firewood in the meantime. Start cooking sausage over fire. Girlfriend pulls out a bottle of cheap alcohol. Proceed to drink my demons away. Some raggedy-looking delinquents seem to be looking for a night fishing spot. Look at them. They look at us. Yell, "Go away." They say, "No, we want some too." They begin to advance towards my girlfriend and I. Pull out the big machete I carry for general camping. Delinquents run off. Another time, similar. Camping about 3 miles east of where we last camped. About 150 yards from the river this time. Slightly cloudy, pitch tent, throw camo net over it. Dig another deep fire pit. Find some large rocks and a couple strips of damp cardboard. Put this over fire to absorb and displace some smoke. Go walk around collecting bottles and stuff. Later that night, 2 a.m., some guys are across the river. Not sure what they are doing. Hear a gunshot. Hear a couple more. This time, one of the bullets hits the dirt a few feet in front of me. Pull out H and a .32 Bulldog revolver. Recon by fire. Dump cylinder in their direction. Knowing they are out of range of the cartridge, and most of the bullets will hit trees or land in the river, they stop shooting and fucking around. They seem to leave the area. Go back to sleep. I never know when I am legally or illegally camping, so I always do it covertly. My campsites usually aren't visible unless you're right up on them. Those are the only 2 times where I've had to deal with other people negatively.
Here's a true one. In rural college up north, 2013 or so, peak golden age of /K/ Christmas break is ending. Decide to go back a few days early because I can dick around in the IT department for $11 an hour when there is nothing to do. Spent Christmas money from grandparents on a spam can of 7.62 by 39. Have an SKSI bought because of /K/. Set out later than I wanted. It is a good 3-hour drive. Weather sets in, gets really bad, frozen rain and some wind. Have to take it slow on the back roads. It is nighttime by the time I get there. At my college you could keep a gun on campus but had to check it in with security. They would tag it and keep it in this massive locker that was basically a converted building addition. Cannot keep ammo in rooms either. It is a fire hazard. Park near the spot I live. Basically 2-bedroom apartments owned by the college that are cheaper than dorms, but for upperclassmen only. I am full commando at this point. Just bought a Flecktarn jacket cheap from this Nugget Enterprises store that was being shilled on /K/. Been wearing it all winter because it is nice and cozy. Do not have a case for my SKAs. I would rather spend my money on ammo. Get all my miss shit moved back into my room. Last thing, gotta take the gun and ammo to security. Turn on the car. Car does not turn on. Shit, not again. Literally just got it back from the shop last week. Fuck you, Buick. Security office is a good 1/4 mile down the road. At least it is late and there are not many people around. Call security. Talk to 50-something-year-old security guard called Wanda. She is always sweet as hell. Small college. Everyone knows everyone. Let her know I am coming down to check in a rifle and some ammo. Car is dead and I am just gonna walk over. She says, okay honey, see you in a few. The weather has picked up. It has gotten even worse. Winds probably gusting 20-25 miles per hour. God damn it, if we lose power, I am gonna be pissed. I wanted to play Stalker tonight, put on my comfy warm Flecktarn jacket, sling SKS over shoulder, spam can under shoulder, start walking on an unsanded sidewalk. God damn, this spam can is heavier than I thought. I cannot wait to get to the local gravel pit with my bros and blow through a few hundred rounds. Almost to the security office, it is maybe 50 feet away. See headlights, hear faint country music. Instinctively move further away from the sidewalk. Might be drunks and the roads are atrocious. They slow down to a near stop. Hear the Bluetooth stereo inside stop playing music. Dial tone, what the fuck? Faint soccer mom screeching noises. Hear the phrase, he's got a gun. Oh god damn it, it must be a masshole soccer mom dropping her kid off early. Is it going to be like the stories? Turn around to look at the car. Just as I do, soccer mom hammers the accelerator. On a road that is pretty much just a sheet of ice. Nearly hits one of the security vehicles parked by the side of the road. Fishtails off into the night, so surprised that I don't pay attention to my footing on the icy sidewalk. Fucking knew I should have put on actual boots instead of cheap gym shoes. Down my ass goes on the sidewalk. Must protect Raifu, grab it as I lose my balance. Fall with hip on top of the spam can, it hurts. Wait a minute, why does my hand hurt more? Oh fuck. I grabbed the bayonet as I was falling, gashed my hand open nicely. Start swearing a blue streak, hear laughter. Wanda had stuck her head outside the door just as I fell. She says, "Oh no, bless you honey, get in here." I say, "Thanks." Gets me some gauze. I bandage my hand. She starts doing the paperwork and tagging my gun and spam can. Phone rings. I say, I think that might be about me. Sure enough, the local sheriff got a call about some madman school shooter in camo walking around the campus with a rifle. Wanda tells him what happened. She says, "Also, while you're on the phone." Based, Wanda tells him to keep an eye out for a reckless driver. Pulls up surveillance footage and gets a partial plate number. We laugh about it all. Head back to my room. Play some Stalker. Did not lose power. I heard a few days later that someone's mom was pulled over that night for going too fast for the road conditions.
Based Wanda.
Wanda was the best, man. She was told to barge into my dorm room to do booze busts when I was still a sophomore. Saw the bottle of vodka and a couple of pistols and raised her hands like it was a goddamn comedy skit. Just walked backwards out the room. We hid it all in an air vent and never said anything. Next day, when we actually got raided by the wannabe cop, we'd tossed everything in the vent already and gotten past the hangovers, and it was all, "Oh, sorry, sir, we don't have a screwdriver. Maybe check with the engineers. No, there's nothing in my mattress, feel free to look." Once I graduated and wasn't legally obliged to stay out of college politics, I bought her like $200 of drinks at the local pub just to say thanks. We just shared a bunch of whiskey and some pizza and talked shit about Zoomers. God, I miss New England. I'm going back soon, I swear, lads.
Has no one in this thread gone Innawoods and come back with a good story? This happened a few years back, B20. Go Innawoods with /K/buddy. Innawoods turns into Innafields. Seriously. They stretched for miles completely empty, besides a few houses, trailers, sheds, and even a barn we heard of. Get interested because places are abandoned. Walk for about 4-ish hours until we see a building in the distance. Look through binoculars. It is a small little house with concrete walls. Walk up to it. House is abandoned. Search the entire inside. Only interesting find was a section of a tree branch spray-painted silver. Go outside the house. See tornado shelter heavily covered by grass. Barely noticed because the lock stuck out. Get frustrated trying to break the lock and end up shooting it. Open doors. An awful smell immediately hits our nostrils. Smells like several skunks had died and rotted. Buddy throws chem light downstairs. Walk downstairs to find another door. Open the door. No dinosaur. An even more putrid and disgusting smell hits our nostrils. Forced to put on gas masks. We brought them for fun, but thank the Lord we had them. Chem light barely illuminating part of the room we were in. Can see something painted on the ground. Turn on headlamps and toss another chem light. See a giant pentagram painted in the middle, with 6 smaller ones painted around it. Candles on the ground everywhere, most starting to rot. Upside-down crosses painted in what we assumed was blood on the walls. In the center of the giant pentagram was a fairly large blood stain. See some items in the far corner. A cassette player with no cassettes and a scalpel resting on top. Scared shitless. Buddy is spooked too. Take last look and leave. Close everything up and cover the entrance with grass again. Start walking back. It was getting to be around 8:30-ish. Walk for about a half hour until we turn back to look at the house. Look through binoculars. House lights are on. Silhouettes are walking down into the shelter.
I have something be me last summer. Be wanting to complete the Stalker challenge. Abandoned cement barge beached on a sandbar on a wooded coastline. Seems like the perfect place to camp. Brought a WASR, 2 magazines. All the magazines I had at the time was poor. Went to check out this barge, it was pretty sick. There were barnacles growing on some of it, so I assumed that at high tide it was partially submerged. It had a cargo hold and an upper deck. There were 2 portholes in the upper deck, with rusty ladders that descended down into the cargo hold. Decided to camp on the beach where the sandbar connects with dry land, because I did not want to drown in my sleeping bag if high tide completely covered the vessel somehow. Explored the barge just a little more first. Noticed some rusted out metal stuff in a little square pool on the upper deck. Reached down into the water, pulled out a rifle casing. Recognized it as a nugget food casing. Wait till /K/ hears about this. Finally get finished closely examining all the cool old rusted bits of the barge, valves, moorings, etc. Head over to the beach to make camp. Paced it off, it's 60 or so yards from the barge. Not quite Stalker challenge legal, but safety first, right? What's 10 yards? Make a little fire pit with rocks for shiggles. Put driftwood in it. Whipped out the Zippo, lit her up. Looked at my watch. It was about 4. Pic-related kind of shows the shoreline I was camped on. Pic-related also shows the part of the upper deck where the barge was split in 2. Anyhow, sitting on the beach in front of a weak-ass fire. WASR laying by my side. Pull out a green plastic dollar store harmonica. No idea how to play it, just make noises with it. Start doing the Jaws theme with it for shiggles. Laugh at my own cleverness. Try to do something like the national anthem. Hear laughter coming from the trees. Stop playing, look over. I say hello. Laughter continues, same tone as before. It kind of sounds like me, come to think of it. Begin to smell something kind of metallic. Smell is kind of salty too. I was camped by the sound, mind you, so it was already a little salty, but this smell was saltier than normal. It is still only 5, not quite sundown. I am scanning the tree line, but I do not see nothing. Reach for my harmonica to resume playing. Realize the salty metallic smell kinda resembles blood. In fact, it strongly resembles the smell of blood. Same laugh comes from the woods. Begin to put 2 and 2 together. Chamber around in the WASR. I say hello. Sit there staring at the woods for a long-ass time. Nothing. Cook my beans on the fire, glancing over at the woods periodically. Just as the sun is going down, hear hello come at me from the woods. That sounds a lot like me. Nope the fuck out of there. .jpg. Packed my shit in a flash. Ran to the barge. Pic-related was taken 2 weeks prior, while hiking with a buddy. We spent all of 5 minutes there and continued on our way. Anyways, darted to the barge, leapt inside, frantically climbed up onto the upper deck, jumped across the crack onto the bow, went prone, aimed my WASR back out across the sandbar. Eyes golf ball wide, sit like that a while. Check watch periodically. Just as the sun is finishing setting, realize I'm going to want some fire. Go down onto the sandbar, rifle slung and at the ready, gather up a little driftwood. Light a rather weak fire on the deck. Make one last trip just at the beginning of dusk, find some good wood. Fire achieves respectable size. Spend the first few hours of the night rifle-shouldered, prone, aiming down the sandbar. Remember that several of my relatives suffer various mental illnesses. I'd tell myself, you probably just hallucinated that shit, Anon. You need to go get checked out. Then I hear the heavy breaking of brush from the coastline, and something muffled blows to me on the breeze. Laughter and a pretty unpleasant smell. Oh shit. Hold my rifle tight. Point it threateningly at the coast. It is pretty well dark by now. Remember, I brought a flashlight. Go over to my pack laying on the deck by the stern. Get it. Come back. Shine it down along the sandbar. See something glint as I sweep. Swing beam back onto the gleaming thing. 2 little dots. Eyes. Fucking eyes. Something big and dark is attached to them. It is pretty damn tall. It is just standing there halfway down the sandbar. Cannot see it well, low battery, and it was kind of far away. Try to tell myself it is just an animal. That is one big-ass animal. Is it a bear? Human eyes do not glow in the dark, so it cannot be a person. Cannot hurt to shoot at it, right? Chamber a round. A live round is ejected and skitters across the deck. I already chambered one on the beach. I am a dumbass. Go prone, take aim, touch one off. If only I had had a flash hider instead of a slanted break. Blinded for what felt like an eternity. Blinking frantically in hopes of restoring my sight the whole time. Get to the point where I can see again. Frantically shine my mag light all up and down the sandbar. No eyes. Maybe I scared it off. Hear the crunching of gravelly sand below me. Somebody says hello. Once again, it sounds a hell of a lot like me. In full panic mode. Stand on the railing, point WASR over the side, mag dump. Hear and see nothing for a good long while. Settle in. Got my legs in a sleeping bag, head and arms out with WASR aimed at the portholes that lead from the hold up onto the deck. A couple of hours pass, my eyelids get heavy. Hear that laugh again. This time, it is below me. Nearly wet myself in sheer terror. Begin focusing intently. Hear small waves lapping up against the side of the barge. The tide has risen. After 10 minutes or so, begin to hear sloshing in the hold below. Something is walking around down there and it's beginning to fill with water. There is only one direction this can go now. Up. Oh shit, oh shit, oh shit, oh shit. I hear, hello. Scream, shut the fuck up. Shove my WASR down the porthole. Blind fire like a madman. There goes all of my ammo. Heart is hammering. Slowly back away from the porthole. Hear something clanging against metal. It is climbing the ladder. Unsheath my bayonet. I do not know how that thing fit through the porthole, but it did. Fight or flight engages. There is nowhere to run to. Charge, screaming. It happened in a flash. The bayonet plunged into the thing. A heavy paw or something slapped me across the chest and I went tumbling off the barge into the drink. I now have no WASR and I am in the water. Play dead, lay on my back, hope it does not see me. Heart is pounding uncontrollably. Still, not worried about hypothermia because it is June. Slowly drift away with the current. See a hulking silhouette next to the fire as I drift off. The current dumps me on a beach a few miles east. Hike home. Never go near that place again.
Here is mine. Fucking autistic. Be me. Be doing Stalker challenge in a state park that used to be a military stronghold back in World War II and Cold War. Go Innawoods with Slav shit weapons, gear, and food. Go till I find an open bunker and set up shop. Have camped towards the entrance to keep track of any unplanned visitors. And it is cleaner on this side. Get a fire going in a big old can I found. Put some beans on and take a bit of a walk into the bunker while they heat up. Checking it out. Some animal bones, cans and bottles from other stalkers. Keep going until I see a second entrance to the bunker. This one is a bit more hidden by brush, but it looks like a small animal, like a fox or coon used it. Go back and squat. Have beans and some sausage. Explore the bunker a little more after meal. Nothing is really there, just more bunker and a collapsed section. Coming back to camp, I hear a noise. Nothing significant, but sounds kind of human. Round a corner towards the second entrance. See a group of about 5 guys each with a 30-pack of some shitty beer. Ask them in a Russian accent, what do in bunker? To their absolute confusion as to why Soviet is in bunker, one of them says, hey man, we're all underage and want to get drunk. We knew about this place and it seems like an easy place to hide in. Tell him, get out of here, stalker. He tries reasoning with me, but decides that the best thing to do is to get violent with the crazy bastard that I feel they thought was living in the damn thing. This bastard draws a flare gun, shoots a warning shot into the ceiling. By the light of the flare lodged into the ceiling, I draw my nugget bayonet and charge him. Stab his 30-pack and scream, Psycha-bliat. They run and freak the fuck out. They will not report it. No one should be in the bunker to start with, and they had the beer. Spend the next 24 hours in the bunker. Rather uneventful. Did some Innawoods operating in Slav shit, but nothing happened.
I hope that you enjoyed tonight's broadcast. If you enjoyed tonight's story, then please subscribe to the channel as more Greentext will appear daily. A new broadcast will appear when the clock strikes midnight Central Time.